All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Coach Cruise. I'm your host, Brad. If we have any new people out there, and today the topic is drink packages, particularly the Cheers package on Carnival. I just released a video regarding that where I go through all the ins and outs, but we're going to talk about that video and the tips and advice and everything that I offered during that. It'll just be an extended version. That video was only about 16 or 17 minutes, but we're going to go the whole hour today. But we'll have some other things to discuss as well. Before we get into the Cheers package or the drink package, let's say hi to everybody. We had Justin, Seg, and Jimbo. They were the first three in here, the gold, silver, and bronze winners. And then Tim was right after. What's going on, Tim? And then Ken, I see, is here as well. There's 17 of you already in here, so that's a great thing. Cruise Life TV, I was just on their show yesterday. They did their first live. So that's going to be a trivia question for when they have 1 million subscribers. You can say, who's the first guest on Cruise Life TV? And it'll be me, and I'll be like an after note or whatever. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Greg and Michelle from Cruise Life TV. If you haven't checked out their video that they just released yesterday that I was part of, go ahead and do that. We have Carnival Cruise Addicts who was watching that show yesterday. I remember seeing them in the comments. We got Scott from Controversial Cruising. We got the Muncie channel back again. Nick Norrell. Great to see all of you. Justin, I mentioned already. Will G is here. He made a comment on today's video I saw. You see Zoe here is getting very impatient for some treats. Mandy is back. Great to see you again, Mandy. Sherry. Oh, there's Sherry. We hadn't seen her in a couple weeks. I hope the fact that you're watching the show today means you're feeling much better. And Jay, too. They were having a heck of a time. Sherry got sick, then Jay got sick, and hopefully you two. I hadn't checked on you in a few days, so hopefully you two are both feeling much better. We got Michael back again. Michael Garcia, great to see you. Cheryl is here. We got Lito Tito. Lito Tito just messaged me a little while ago, and I had told him, I was like, you know what? I just finished practice, and now I'm racing home because I'm going to be live in an hour. So I made it. Lito. Fireball Steve, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Great to see Fireball Steve. We got a bunch of people here today. This is pretty awesome. Michael Allen is here. Usnavi is here. It's great to see so many people so early in the show. I guess everybody's hitting that like button because it's populating to everybody. If you haven't hit the like button, hit that real quick, and maybe we'll get 50 or more people in here, which would be even more cool. Jason is here. Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. Oh, Sean is down here. And then we got Higdon, the bull, Adam Higdon. Thanks. Let's put Adam Higdon's comment up there. He's a buddy of mine, so he's just spreading the love. All right, and then we have Ben here, and Ben messaged me the other day because some of you know I'm a Cubs fan. He's a Milwaukee Brewers fan, but we have a good spirited conversation. All positive. But Craig Counsell, the Milwaukee Brewers, for you baseball fans out there, the Cubs signed him away from the Brewers. So there's some Brewer fans not too happy, understandably, with that. We got Bill from Armstrong Adventures and Sandy Lost Pirate Jenkins here. All right. This is very cool. Like I say, we're starting off the show great. So many people here. We're already over 31. And again, if you haven't already hit that like button, that would be awesome if you hit that right now. And we'll get going. All right. So you see Zoe here on my left. And for those people that do a super chat of $10, Zoe gets a treat and in your name. And then sometimes she does a little trick. So I'm trying to teach her to show, man. Look at that. Tim's going to start us off right here. So Tim's going to get us started for Zoe. And what do you say to Tim? What do you say? What do you say? Say thank you. Say thank you. Say thank you. Good girl. Hopefully you heard that. And I know the comments, but I'm trying to get it to where she's not barking too loud because sometimes the loud is like super, super loud. But Tim G, we have you down here. Now, last week we got all the way up to 60. Cruise Life TV right at the end got us another 10. So we got up to 60. And with that from Tim G, we are 61 through 70. So we only need 30 more. And then you will have your choice of a shirt or a insulated cup thing with like a straw and all that. I'll show you that before I do the drawing in case that is your preferred choice. So let's get Tim's super chat up there. Sean says we sail on the Conquest in 11 days and our drink packages have been purchased. Excellent. All right. And cheers to that. Very good. And speaking of cheers, if somebody does a $15 or more super chat, then I have this double here that I'm going to pour in that Yeti cup that I just drank from. And I have a mixer, my can of Coke Zero to go with it. And then after that, we will get into the Buffalo Trace for any $15 super chat. And when you do a $15 super chat or more, Zoe gets a treat and I get a treat. So that's how that works. And you can do any level of super chat. It could be as little as $1. And for those of you that are new to the program, once we reach 100, we're only 30 away from that now, I tell everybody their numbers again. And then I ask Siri to give me a random number 1 through 100. And she does. And then whatever that number is, whoever it corresponds to, that's who wins the shirt or the cup here. So, yeah. All right. Okay, so let's get into this cheers package. All right. Now, I just released this video today, and I realize some of you are going to be watching this on replay. And maybe you haven't purchased the cheers package, or maybe you have before, and maybe you didn't get the full, value out of it. So let's discuss what it is first for you new cruisers out there. Now, the cheers package on Carnival, it gives you 15 drinks that include alcohol a day. Now, it goes beyond that. And when I first bought my first cheers package, I was under the impression that I got 15 drinks total. So I wasn't going to waste one of my 15 drinks with like a pop or an orange juice or something like that. I didn't know, of course, at the time, this was several years ago, but I know she's trying to get the whole plate of treats all at once. So I didn't know at the time that you could get unlimited non-alcohol drinks. So for you new Cheers purchasers out there that are considering Cheers, know that you get gourmet coffee, for example. And they charge you, almost $5 for those in the Java Cafe or the gourmet coffee shops on Carnival. You get things like Starbucks, the bottled drinks, the Frappuccinos, things like that, Gatorades, energy drinks, like a Monster or something like that, if you're into those. All of that is covered. That is non-alcohol. The only catch is you have to wait 5 minutes before you get another drink. So that's the only catch, but you can drink as many as you want. So, if you're down and you like to start your morning off with a couple cups of coffee or 3 or 4 or 5 cups of coffee, and, you go drink the cup of coffee while you're reading a book or something, and decide you want to keep drinking coffee, you can go back for 4 or 5 of them. And, you can drink as many as you want. And then later on, maybe start getting into the alcohol, but those 4 or 5 coffees that you drink don't count against your 15 total. It's only drinks that include alcohol. Now, one other tip that I gave is bottles of water. Now, you can get bottles of water anywhere on the ship, but they're the little bottles. And you can say, hey, I want a bottle of water. And oftentimes you can order an alcoholic beverage and ask for a small bottle of water with it. And they do that. You don't have to wait an extra 5 minutes for that little bottle of water. They'll include those together. So that's good to know. Now, if you are wanting a big bottle of water, those you can only get in when you're eating dinner usually. And they will give you one of those big bottles of water, but that's the only place you can get it. Like the big bottles of water available at bars and things like that, but they won't give you one because you're eating dinner. If you want, to have water with your dinner and you don't want to drink the tap water, that's why they'll give you the big bottles there. So that's how you can get that. So if you and your wife, or if you're there with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever the case may be, if you both have the Cheers package, they've gotten a little bit thriftier in, giving these bottles out. Now, one thing I've done is I always make sure I have a few singles with me. And when they come to get the drink orders, I'll say, look, I want this drink or that drink. And then we also want a big bottle of water. And I hand them a couple bucks, right off the bat. And that usually takes care of the thing. And they bring two. Now, sometimes they'll open the cap, because that's what they're told to do. That's no big deal because it's water, right? And you're going to use it. So yeah, let's check the comments here and make sure I didn't miss a question or anything. We have Michael just got off the Magic on Saturday. Started every morning off with a milkshake, compliments of the drink package. Yes. And I tell you what, he started the morning off. I like to end the evenings, like after dinner, because sometimes you go to dinner and the desserts might not be to your liking. You might look at it and like, oh, that sounds okay. This sounds okay. But nah, there's nothing that's just like, I must have it. Right. But the milkshake to me always sounds good. And some of not all the Carnival cruise ships, but some of the cruise ships, you can get, oh my goodness, you can get spiked milkshakes, and the bourbon milkshake I'm a big fan of. Now that'll count as one of your 15, but it's just well, look at that. Sherry just she capped us off. So Sherry is going to be, and thank you so much, Sherry, and great to see you on the show again. So you are 71 through 100, and then check this out. You are also 1 through 70. So we are still only 30 away. Now you got a 30% chance to win this first round. But because Sherry did that $100 super chat, and that is so awesome. Thank you, Sherry and Jay, for that. We get to do the shirt drawing here. So before we do the shirt drawing, I showed this last week, but I have a few of these. I wanted to get some different merch. So, So I have these like Yeti type cups, and this pops up and you can drink out of it, and there's a straw attached to it. And the thing about these caps is they screw off. So you get a nice seal there. But yeah, you have your choice of that or the Coach Cruise shirt, which I will show you as soon as I get this back in the box. All right. And so our traditional Coach Cruise dog with sunglasses shirt, there that is. And there is the back. And I have them in different colors. That's a size medium there that I'm showing you. But let's see who's going to win. Okay, so we have Frankie Floyd that has numbers 1 through 5. We have North Shore Travelers, Eric, 6 through 10. We have Rick Wade, 11 through 15. Tim G is 16 through 35. Carnival Cruise Addicts is 36 through 50. Cruise Life TV is 51 through 60. Tim G, again, 61 through 70. And Sherry is 71 through 100. All right, so we have about 6 or 7 different people here that have a chance. As you see, there's no number up there right now. I'm going to say, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100, and we'll see what pops up. Hey, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. 34. 34. So let's see who 34 is. That is one Mr. Tim G. He had numbers 16 through 35. So Tim G is winning his choice of a shirt or another cup there if he chooses to. So that's what we have going on there. So congratulations, Tim, and thank you, Sherry, for getting us to the 100. And now, because Sherry did that $100 super chat, she is numbers 1 through 70. We're still only 30 away from giving away a second shirt. So this is Sherry 1 through 70. Obviously, she'll have a great chance to win, but we're only 30 away again from doing that second shirt. So thank you once again for that. All right. Congrats. Yep. Way to go, Tim. Yep. Absolutely. All right. So here we go. And Sherry, I gotta, you know what? I forgot that we get treats here. So I'm gonna take care of Zoe first because she's tearing off my arm. We're gonna give Zoe a couple treats. So high five for Sherry and Jay. High five for Sherry and Jay. Now, say thank you. 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 Good girl. All right, we'll give her another one too. And then I'm going to get into the Buffalo Trace, and also that double I have, I'll mix with my Coke Zero. So we'll do the double dip. But Sherry and Jay, thank you so much. Always a fan of Buffalo Trace. That is a good bourbon. And that's one of the bourbons they put in that bourbon milkshake that I was just talking about. All right. And then you get another treat from Sherry and Jay. Sit. High five. High five. Now, say thank you again. Say thank you. Good girl. All right. There we go. So thank you once again, Sherry and Jay, for that. And so, yeah, getting back to the Cheers package. You know, the milkshakes that Michael was just talking about. Yeah, like I'm a big fan of that bourbon milkshake. I'll get it maybe once a cruise or twice a cruise if I think about it. But, you know, sometimes I forget, you know, and you'll be having dinner and then you pick out a dessert and then you're like, oh, I should have got that milkshake. I forgot all about it. But yeah, that's a definite good choice. And obviously you don't have to get the spiked variety, but if you like bourbon, I highly suggest that bourbon milkshake. That is a good call. But just a milkshake in general. Yeah. And Tim says, yeah, Zoe's getting better. She is. She works for treats. But right now, I tell you what, I used to talk about Sadie tearing up my arm. Zoe tears it up twice as bad. Okay, calm down here. Calm down. She is just, it's like this dog hasn't eaten before. All right, so let's go now. A couple of my, and you know what? I forgot to bring it in here. I actually took it out of here because, you know, I did my video on the Cheers package, but a thermos. Now, here's a way. This is a great tip for those of you that are getting the Cheers package, because one of the comments I hear from a lot of people that get the Cheers package is, you know what, on C days, you know, the Cheers package is great. And, you know, it's no problem getting the drinks to make, you know, break even or go ahead a little bit. But then when we go on port days, you know, you're at port for so long and then you come back and you have dinner and there's no more that you can have more than 2 or 3 drinks. Okay, so here's the solution to that. Now, this is just a Yeti cup, but we all have seen, you know, the thermoses that are about this big with the screw-on caps and things like that. They're big, but they're not, you know, so big. I mean, you can get them super big if you wanted to. But if you can pack a thermos, if you got enough space to pack a thermos, and they don't take up that much space, right, and your luggage, and you have the Cheers package, the Atrium Bar lobby is always open. There's always at least one bar open. So before you go out to port, especially if you're going somewhere like the beach, you could order yourself a mixed drink or 3 or 4 of them, right? Depending upon how big a drink it is, and pour that into your thermos. You paid for it. There's no rule that says you can't take liquid off the ship. Now, you do hear announcements about people, you know, don't take food and things like that off the ship. But I've never heard an announcement saying that you can't take liquid off the ship, especially if it's in an airtight thermos, right? So you take that off there, you pour yourself 3 or 4 drinks that you paid for. Now you've got 4 drinks or more, you know, of your Cheers package, and you haven't even gotten off the ship. So you'll enjoy those at the beach, or maybe you're going on an excursion or a tour or something like that. And then, every hour or so or half hour, you enjoy it, enjoy some of your beverage, pour it into a little cup, and yeah, just have a little picnic or whatever the case may be. So that is one of the tips that a lot of people have thanked me for, for those Cheers package videos and the tips that go along with it. So, it's definitely something I would recommend, and it works out really well. Diana Hernandez says, does Carnival Celebration have the bourbon milkshake? Diana, yes. The last time I was on the celebration, it did. And Diana, are you going on Thanksgiving with me? Because you're talking about the celebration. So I'm guessing maybe you're from the Facebook group that I'm on, and we're going on the celebration at the same time. So possibly, I don't know, but I'm doing the Thanksgiving, but I know there's a couple other cruise groups I'm on before and after. And I always get people that'll ask, like, oh, are you on this cruise with us or whatever? And I'm like, well, no, I always like to do research on a couple of cruises before, and then I'll share stuff, on a couple of cruises after. So not every Facebook group that I'm on am I actually on that cruise. But yeah, so Diana is on the cruise. So I will meet you, Diana. And I think you're on the bar crawl too, if I remember correctly. So that'll be awesome. And we will have a lot of fun doing that. And yes, we are. All right. Look forward to meeting you, Diana. All right. So let's see. Speaking of the Cheers, let's stay on track. The cost of Cheers has gone up, but the good news is it's only gone up on cruises of 3, 4, and 5 days. All right. Now it's about an extra $11 a day. They tell you the cost of Cheers, but when they tell you the cost of Cheers, when Carnival does, they usually don't share the what do you call it? The gratuities. They don't factor that in. But I mean, you have to factor it in because you pay for it up front. So I will tell you that for a 6 or 7 day or longer cruise, it's going to be a little over $70 per day once gratuities are added in there. But for a 3, 4, or 5 day, you're paying $82 roughly per day once you factor gratuities in. Now, here's the other thing, and you're not obligated to do this. You've already paid your gratuities. But me, for one, when I'm at some place like the Alchemy Bar and I see them putting like 4 or 5 drinks and they're so busy and this and that, like I always end up throwing an extra dollar or two, because I see them working so hard. And I mean, I know it's paid in advance. If it's somewhere, if I'm going somewhere like that and I get a water and they just, hand me a water in like 2 seconds, yeah, maybe I'm not going to sign an extra tip or give an extra dollar or something for that, because all I did was hand me something in 2 seconds. The 20% or 18% gratuity more than covers that. But yeah, in some cases, some of you, you may feel that obligation to give even a tip on top of the gratuity that you've already paid for. But to each his own, and like I said, we're not here to discuss that, but I do know that some people, are in that situation. So $82 a day. So to get your money's worth, you need to drink. Well, I was thinking about this. Alchemy, for example, if you get 3 drinks at Alchemy, that's going to be roughly $50. If we just round about, it's going to be about $50. So if you were to drink 6 drinks over the course of the time that Alchemy opens till the time they close, I mean, that in itself, and obviously you're not spending all that time there at Alchemy, but if you go before dinner and say, have a drink, bring a drink with you to dinner, there's 2 right there. And then, maybe you stop later and have a couple, I don't know, but just, obviously you don't have to just be at Alchemy Bar, but 6 drinks at a place like Alchemy would cover the cost of your cruise, even if you did only a 3 to 5. You're going to be over $100. That's just on the alcohol. And remember, we were talking about earlier, you do things like get the gourmet coffees or get the milkshakes or get the big bottles of water from, the main dining room. And then you're going to be way, way over. Now, the other thing, here's something that I haven't mentioned yet, but there's no bill at the end of a cruise. I hear a lot of people say, well, we're only going to have like 3 drinks or, something like that. And yeah, it definitely would not be worth it if you're purchasing, only 3 drinks. You're not going to get your money's worth. 'Cause Cheers is, for a 7-day cruise, it's going to end up being about $1,000. But if you get 3 drinks, and let's say it's at the Alchemy Bar, there's $50. So let's say you average 3 drinks a day, and each of you do that. Let's say you and your spouse. So there's $100 a day. That ends up being $700 by the end of the cruise. $700 for $300 more. You could have 15 drinks at Alchemy. So we're talking about 3 drinks, $50 each, right? If you to get just 3 drinks from Alchemy, and then again by the end of the cruise, you're going to end up, that's $100 a day for a couple. That's $700 for a 7-day cruise. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's a no brainer. But again, I do hear the argument from people that haven't always gotten the Cheers package. And again, I know it makes sense for some people, but once you factor everything in, it's almost difficult to turn that down. All right, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so that big bill at the end of the cruise, when you book a cruise, right? This celebration cruise that we're going on, Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, but the New Year's Eve one. I booked that one almost 2 years ago. So, and then a lot of people do book a cruise way, way in advance. So if you're paying for the cruise ahead of time, and it's it's like that Christmas club or whatever that they used to have at banks, where you could put a little bit of money away, and you would have this money for Christmas or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, if you're paying it off ahead of time, when you go on vacation, you want to be on vacation, right? You don't want to think like, oh, do I want this drink? Do I really want to pay $13 for this drink? Do I need another one? And the other thing, here's the other one. You're trying different drinks, right? If you have 15 drinks, you might say, well, I'm not going to drink 15 drinks, but it gives you the freedom to explore and try some different things. Think about it. If you're paying for each and every drink, are you going to try something different off the menu? I mean, you might try something if the flavors sound good, but chances are you're going to stick to what you know. You're going to stick to what you know because you're like, look, I'm investing $13 in this drink. It has to be good. I know what this tastes like. So this is what I'm going to order because I know I'll be satisfied with this. This sounds good, but if it's not good, then I've just wasted $13 and it has to be good. So I'm going to go with the familiar thing, right? So yeah, that's another reason. That's another argument for it. And I don't work for Carnival. Here I'm selling Cheers packages for them. Let's see some of these comments here. Carnival Cruise Addicts. Let's get them up on the screen. They said, not to mention all the non-alcoholic drinks. You can get water. It's totally worth it. Yep. And Cruise Life TV says it's a great deal. Hopefully Carnival doesn't change it. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully they just stop raising the price on it, right? Yeah, and Tim says, I wish they had a reduced drink package. Yeah, I mean, I know people have discussed that. I think if they did do something like that, Tim, I think what they would end up doing is charging a lot more for it. Like you see, I'm trying to think of an example, but you go to movie theaters and things like that, and you see the medium pop, right, is, I don't know, I'm just saying an example, $4.25, but the large pop is $4.50. Like, I feel like they would, charge you a crazy amount more for like 5 less drinks. Like, it wouldn't be incrementally, like it wouldn't be 33% less. So if you're getting 33% less, it might be 15% less in cost than getting those extra 5 drinks. That's what I think that they would do. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, and Diana, a couple of you made the points about all the non-alcoholic drinks are unlimited. Yes. And Diana says, I made it to the 15 a day. Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed to say I've made it to that 15 on several occasions. So that's probably not a good thing, but considering I'm drinking on this show pretty much every Tuesday. Diana says I'll get shots toward the end of the night. And you know what? That's a good point. And I don't know how many like drinkers we have here, but I'll drink some of the drinks and they don't really hit me. But for whatever reason, if I do a shot of Patron, that helps me for some reason. Like you could put Patron in a drink, but maybe because the mixers or whatever, like I just don't feel it. But if I do it straight, then it hits me different. Like I get that little buzz that you like or whatever. So it's weird how it affects people differently. Will says, I just wish they didn't make all 21 and older in a cabin purchase it. Yes, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Will. Because if you are in a cabin with, let's say you're going with family, and Will has a daughter that I believe is over 20. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she's over 21 that went on a cruise that we were all on. And if they're together, I mean, if she's a drinker, sure, fine, but that might not be the case. So you could have 3 adults in a room, and let's say one doesn't drink at all. Well, then that really messes up the math, right? Because you're going to have to pay for this third person, or this third person's going to have to agree to purchase the Cheers package with you, and they're not going to utilize it, to the full extent. So then you have to break down the math and say, okay, are we going to drink enough to cover the cost of paying for this third person would be? Or, I mean, many couples, and again, good point, Will, bringing that up, because you might be with a spouse or a friend that's not a drinker. And you might think like, hey, I want this Cheers package. I'm going to use this Cheers package. But then your friend is like, oh, they're a really light drinker. They might have 1 or 2, and that's about it. So it doesn't make sense for them. So that is a difficult thing to overcome too, if you're with somebody that's not a drinker. Let's see what Mandy says here. With Cheers, I enjoy that I can upgrade the shelf of liquor in my drink to avoid a hangover. Yes. Yeah, and that is a good thing about Cheers is you're getting good quality liquor. You're not getting well drinks and things like that. Sometimes you go on these Caribbean cruises, right? And you go on these excursions like the rum punch. I mean, who hasn't gotten sick on rum punch on, a cruise excursion? Because, it tastes sweet and everything, and they load it up with, rum. And sometimes, and it's not the high quality rum either. So, if you're drinking them too fast and furious, you can get yourself really sick. So, absolutely. All right. Now, I had some would you rathers for you all, because I know everybody, well, I don't know about everybody, but a few of you like these. So, since we're talking about alcohol, let's see what everybody's flavors are. All right. The first would you rather is a drink with vodka or rum, or I guess it could be a shot. So if I'm offering you vodka or rum in either a drink or as part of a shot, and while I'm waiting for those comments to come across, Sherry and Jay, if you were still there, we are going to put this double here because my drink is getting a little low. And we're going to get this can of Coke Zero going. And then we are going to read off all the responses. All right. So we had a lot of participation. I love it. Let's scroll all the way back up here. Okay, so Carnival Cruise Addicts started us off with vodka. So let's go vodka 1, rum 2, rum 3, 2 to 3 in favor, 3 to 3, 4 to 3 vodka, 5 to 3 vodka, 5 to 4, 6 to 4 vodka, 6 to 5, and Yoli's in the house. 6 to 6 Rum is in the lead, 7-6. Usnavi makes it 8-6 rum. Cheryl makes it 9-6 rum. Okay, so rum is the winner. All right. Wow. You know what? I mean, I would have probably picked vodka on that one, but even if I had, rum still would have won. Okay. Score one for rum. All right. So here is your next question. If you are being forced to drink one of these two liquors, which are you going to choose? Tequila or bourbon? Tequila or bourbon? What's your next flavor? Lito Tito says vodka and rum. If you got Lito Tito, you have to pick vodka, Lito Tito, because I'm going to have to call you Lito and Captain Morgan or something. um, all right. So Will says bourbon. Tim says bourbon. Ken, that says R on. I don't know. I don't know what that was supposed to be. A lot of bourbons. A lot of bourbons. Okay, there's the tequila. Mandy says bourbon. Fireball Steve. Wow, a lot of bourbons. The thing is, you know, when I'm on a cruise, I don't see people ordering bourbon that often. They're ordering a lot of They're ordering no forcing necessary. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yoli says no forcing necessary on drinking on a cruise, right? Bourbon or tequila. Carnival Cruise Addict says abstain. Lito Tito, I guess not a tequila or a bourbon fan. Lito Tito says tequila, and they're Lito Tito. I like that. That could be your new name, Captain Lito. When you're feeling like some bourbon. Diana Hernandez. Okay, I think bourbon won. I really thought I enjoy doing these would you rather's because a lot of times I kid you not, I think that you're gonna go one way and you go completely the other way. Like I thought tequila would win this one because of margaritas and everything, Patron and I just honestly when I'm on cruise ships, I mean when I'm at Alchemy, there'll be a lot of people that'll order old fashions and things like that. But usually, you know, like the Red Frog Bar, they're ordering margaritas and things like that. So I kind of thought that would go the other way, but more bourbon than tequila on that one. Okay. This one's a little simpler. This is just simply beer or wine. If you have a choice at dinner to go with your meal, let's say it's your favorite meal in case you have to pair it. Beer or wine, what are you going with? Beer or wine? That is the next would you rather. A lot of beer fans so far. Okay, Carnival Cruise Addicts is a wine. Ken is a wine fan. Tim says neither. A lot of beers. We had Michael beer, Jason beer, Seg beer, Will beer, Sandy beer, Yoli beer. Sherry says wine. And Cheryl says wine. That's a tongue twister. Sherry, Cheryl, Sherry, Cheryl, Sherry, Cheryl. Cruise Life TV says, well, okay, wine's making a comeback here. And Usnavi is turning green face. So I'm guessing she doesn't want either one of those. All right. So that was good. All right. Now let's get into some eating. I know this is a drinking show, but it is elegant night. And let's pretend that you don't get 2 entrees, that you only get 1. Okay. Or let's just say you're really hungry and you have 1 entree left. You don't want to pay the $5 for the third entree. What are you going to select? Are you going to select steak or prime rib or the lobster? So you go on red meat or you go on lobster? Red meat or lobster? What is your next choice? Red meat or lobster? So you're going with the prime rib or the steak, or are you going with the lobster? Jason says lobster. Tim says steak. Muncie says steak. Michael says, okay, we're 2 and 2 here. We're 3 and 2. Oh, they just a whole bunch popped up at once. And I lost track here. Let's go back and make sure I get the count right. All right, Jason says lobster. Steak is Tim. That's 1 and 1. Muncie makes it 2-1 steak. Michael makes it 2-2. Seg says prime ribs. That's 3-2. Fireball Steve makes it 4-2. Cruise Life TV makes it 4-3. Ken ties it up at 4-4. Carnival Cruise Addicts is a healthy person, neither vegetarian. Sherry breaks the tie and makes it 5-4 lobster. Eric is here from North Shore Travelers, and that makes it, what, 6-4, I think? The alcohol's hitting me, I guess. Will G makes it 7-4. Mandy makes it 7-5. Sandy makes it 8-5. Michelle makes it 8-6. Lido Tito makes it 8-7. And you don't get 2 votes. This isn't Chicago. This is YouTube. So it's 8-7 in favor of lobster, winning by a neck, unless we have another vote come in there too. All right. And speaking of another vote, if you haven't already hit that like button, I would appreciate it very much so. All right. Now, this is for all my Alchemy Bar friends. This question. Cheryl says steak. Okay. So we tied it up there. And Jimbo breaks the tie. Look at that. Steak comes back at the wire to win. All right. Now, Alchemy Bar people, or just people that are drinkers, let's say main dining room. All right. And I know this is hard to, you can't simulate this, right? Well, let's just say any bar that's not Alchemy. Well, I take that back. It can't be a good bar because there's other really good bars besides Alchemy. But let's just say a bar that's not what you would call, like one of your favorite bars or whatever. So here's the deal. Here's the would you rather. Would you rather wait 10 minutes to get a drink at Alchemy or go to one of these other bars that's not nearly as good and get a drink right away? So wait the 10 minutes at Alchemy or get a drink right away walking down the hall, and just because there's not busy because people don't like the drinks as much. So Will says wait. Ken says wait for the Alchemy drink. Because those of you that haven't been to the Alchemy Bar, it's sometimes busy. Well, it's a lot of times busy. It's a lot of times busy. But, sometimes it takes a while for them to make all these drinks. So the best thing to do is, if you're having a drink or 2 or 3, is once you're halfway through that first drink, you might want to put in an order for a second, because by the time you finish that drink, then your drink is already there waiting. But we got a lot of people waiting. A lot of people are waiting. So Jason says wait. Muncie says don't wait. Go to the other bars. Will says wait. Ken says wait. Sherry says wait. Carnival Cruise Addict says right away. I want my drink. Tim says wait. Cruise Life TV, wait. Jimbo, wait. Sandy, hubby says right away. Don't want to wait for it. And if you're getting a simple drink like, Anita, she gets vodka and sparkling water. I mean, any bar can make that. So if there's like a particular drink that's not too complex that, they can't mess it up really, then I could totally get the right away thing, because you don't want to wait for a vodka and club soda at Alchemy. You're going to wait for the experienced alchemist to do their magic and make like 4 different ingredients, right? Or mix 4 different ingredients. Let's see. Lido Tito says depends on how I'm feeling. Jimbo from Memphis says, oh, he's saying, what's up, Carnival Cruise Addicts? Muncie says, I haven't been to the Alchemy Bar. Oh, Muncie, gotta get there. You gotta get there. North Shore Traveler says, wait for that drink at Alchemy. Mandy says right away, because I know my go-to at any bar, steakhouse bar, has the watermelon martini. Yes, the watermelon martini. And I've done that, Mandy. Great call. Watermelon martini, easily one of my favorite drinks. Alchemy usually can make it as well. But sometimes they don't have the watermelon. And the watermelon, the actual fruit watermelon, not syrup or whatever, that makes a huge difference. Diana is a wine drinker, so yeah, you can get the wine anywhere. Usnavi says, wait for that drink at Alchemy. And Muncie Channel says, we will be in March aboard the celebration. All right, Muncie, well, you know that I'm going to have a ton of celebration content for you to prep you for that cruise in March, starting in just 2 weeks on the Thanksgiving cruise and then New Year's Eve. So I will fill you in with all that stuff. Fireball Steve says, I think we all know what I'm drinking. Yes, I think we know what Fireball is drinking. I think we know what Fireball Steve is drinking. Sherry says watermelon martinis are the best. Yes, they are very good. One thing on the drinks, the watermelon martini, I have had a couple watermelon martinis that were a little too sweet. And one thing, if you don't like your drinks as sweet, which I'm one of those people that don't like them as sweet, simply tell your bartender, can I get a watermelon martini less sweet? And they'll do that for you. However they make it sweet, they'll put less to make it sweet, and it'll be to your liking a little bit more. So, make sure, if you're unsure or you don't like drinks too sweet, your bartenders will usually hook you up. And yeah, Lito Tito says coffee, Steve, Fireball coffee. Do they have Fireball coffee? They probably do. So some coffee with flavor infused Fireball to it. I'm sure they have that. Usnavi says, definitely agree about the watermelon martini. Yes, watermelon martinis are awesome. And for those of you that haven't had a watermelon martini on Carnival Cruises, if you like watermelon, if you get somebody that cubes the watermelon and you have those 4 or 5 little cubes of watermelon in there, and then you get to the bottom of your drink and those little cubes of watermelon have sucked up all the alcohol and then the flavor of the watermelon together, those are just scrumptious, those little squares of watermelon, that finish off the drink. It's just a great way to finish the drink. So absolutely on those watermelon martinis. All right. Okay, real quick, since Sherry did that $100 super chat, we are only 30 away. I think I mentioned that once, but in case I forgot, we are only 30 away, and we will give away a second shirt or a drink cup. Tim won that, and he knows how to reach me, so he will let me know what he wants. And but yeah, if we're only 30 away, so I can get Zoe back in here if somebody wants to take care of Zoe. But let me take a drink because I'm a little parched. Muncie, let's put that channel on the screen, or put that comment on the screen. A Muncie channel. The watermelon martini, the signature drink at the steakhouse, but the Alchemy Bar makes about everything. The only thing about the Alchemy Bar is sometimes they don't have all the fruit. They do have fruit back there. Look at that. Carnival Cruise Addicts comes through like a champ. We have a 2-horse race. So Carnival Cruise Addicts, this is awesome. Zoe, come here. I don't know where she went. Obviously, she must be satisfied with the treats, but let me set myself up with a treat here. And then it's a 2-horse race for this shirt or drinking, whatever you want to call it, Yeti cup, whatever. But let's do this Buffalo Trace again here. And then we have a 2-person runoff for the next prize. So Zoe is missing out here on her treat. All right. So Carnival Cruise Addicts, thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Just, yeah, that's probably true too. Carnival Cruise Addicts, thank you. I'm going to mute myself just for a second while I yell for Zoe here. Okay, I hear the pitter patter of her feet. So Carnival Cruise Addicts, and Juicy just jammed the door. There she is. There's Zoe. So high five for Carnival Cruise Addicts. And what do you say? You say thank you. Say thank you. Say thank you. Say it louder. Say it louder. Say it louder. There you go. Good girl. All right. No, Tim and Cheryl had made the comment something about Zoe yesterday on Facebook. And, I commented to Cheryl, yeah, don't pick on Zoe. She's digesting treats. That I came home. And so the way I have it set up when I'm working and Anita's working, she's got a crate, but we have a dog door also. So we used to just put a gate up and she had the whole upstairs to herself. And then she could go in and out of the dog door. Well, that's until she figured out a way to jump over the gate and then just destroy the whole house basically while we were gone, So we're like, okay, we can't do that anymore. So then I rigged this up where I had her crate and then I put kind of the fence around her crate. So she was just in a smaller area, but she could go inside or outside when we were gone. She ended up jumping over the fence or jumping on top of her, big crate or whatever. And then again, getting into the house, destroying it. So I have this, one of these big planters with like one of these big palm tree type things, in the front of the house. I came home the other day, a couple days ago, and it was a late night of coaching. And and I come home and I see some stuff on the floor and I'm like, oh no. And I go to the front. She had knocked over this giant potted plant somehow. And I mean, dug out all of the dirt all over the floor, all over this table, this small table that it was on, or bench, whatever you want to call it. Destroyed the plant. I mean, it was a nice, healthy plant and everything. She just ripped it completely out, just tore it to shreds, and there was no more plant. So, and then somehow she figured out a way to jump on the dining room table. So there was because she had gotten the mud or the dirt from the plant, there was this mud paw prints all over the place, all over the table. So yeah, she was a booger, giant booger. Was not happy with her that day. So she needs to earn some of these super chats that she's earning. She needs to pay for some of the damage that she's done. So I appreciate that. All right, so Sherry and Carnival Cruise Addicts. Like I said, it's a 2-horse race. So Sherry is 1 through 70, and Carnival Cruise Addicts is 1 through 30. So get your bets down, everybody. Who is going to win? All right. So if it's 1 through 70, Sherry wins. I'm sorry. If it's 71 through 100. See, the drinks are kicking in. So if it's 1 through 70, it's Sherry. If it's 71 through 100, it's Carnival Cruise Addicts. So you see the number is not there anymore. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. The number is 19. So Sherry wins. That was part of her $100 super chat. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Sherry. But again, thank you, Carnival Cruise Addicts. Appreciate that very, very much. And yeah, it's great that we have 2 winners. So Sherry, I know you know how to reach me as well. So feel free to send me a message and let me know what you would like, and we will take care of that. All right. So I don't have a whole heck of a lot more to talk about. I know we've been talking about this Cheers package the whole time. One drink that I'll tell you about that I'm a big fan of. Now, I know tequila lost out to bourbon, but one of the drinks that I get that we've kind of dubbed the Coach Cruiser, for those of you that, are going to go on a cruise in the near future, if you go to the Alchemy Bar, they will make this for you. So I'm going to try to type in on the comments here. It is 2 ounces. Oops. 2 ounces of Patron or tequila, whatever your favorite tequila is. 1 ounce triple sec. Now that used to be uh, Patron, like Patron citronage, but I don't think you can get that anymore. So now they substitute the Patron citronage for 1 ounce of triple sec. And then it's 1 ounce muddled lime. 1 ounce muddled lime. And then 1 ounce of, what is it? It is, spicy mango. That's what it is. Spicy mango. So there is the recipe right there. Now you can make that recipe at home if you wanted to. And I'm telling you, it is a tasty drink, but it is a potent drink. But if you go to the Alchemy Bar, and now this drink, it used to be called the Fiery Tropical Passionate Martini. It used to be on the Alchemy Bar menu. Why they took it off, I have no idea. I've talked to so many old school Alchemy bartenders, and they said, yeah, we don't understand why they took it off. That was one of our most popular drinks. For whatever reason, they took it off the menu. But everybody that, enjoys tequila, that's tried that drink, they're like, oh my God, this is good. It does have a little bit of kick to it. That's where the spicy mango comes from. But, it's not too spicy. So it's a little sweet. It's a little spicy, just, yeah, I mean, it's a good drink. So what a lot of people have gone on cruises. So like on the Carnival Celebration, I'll be on there for a week, and then I'll be on there again New Year's Eve. Anybody traveling after that, I'm gonna tell them, they're gonna just be like, okay, I know Coach Cruise was on here. Give me a Coach Cruiser, and they'll know. They'll know because they were starting to tell people, and people were walking up, say, give me a Coach Cruise, and they knew what they were talking about. So if we could turn that drink, switch it from the Fiery Tropical Passionate Martini to the Coach Cruiser, that would be awesome. So yeah, if you want to try a drink with a little tequila, a little kick, a little sweet, then order that. We got the Z Show in the house. And thank you, Sherry. And congratulations, Sherry, again on the win. He says, good evening, Usnavi Michelle. Can't wait to see you on the Carnival Jubilee. Yes. And, I mean, there's a lot of us cruising around New Year's Eve or over Christmas. And the Z Show is going to be on that inaugural Jubilee cruise along with Lido Tito and Usnavi and Derek and Amanda from Island Time and several other people. I don't know if Fireball Steve, if you're still on here, if you're going on that inaugural also. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is going to be an awesome cruise. And speaking of Usnavi and Lido Tito, if you all are getting the Wi-Fi package, you've got to go live with me and walk around the ship. And we got to do a live together, if you don't mind. And Fireball Steve is going too. And look, Mark is back. Haven't seen Mark in a bit. He says been a hot minute, and it definitely has. So good to see you again, Mark. So yeah, the Jubilee, that is an exciting. It's always exciting when they launch a new ship. So I'm going to be excited to hear and see the Jubilee. And hey, exclusive here. Speaking of the Jubilee, when they go and they do their big media blitz thing on the Jubilee, they're not going to do it for the inaugural because, it's right during Christmas and they just feel like it's not the right time. But the Carnival Cruise media people or whatever have already reached out to me, and they've told me like, hey, Coach, would you like to come to our event, our media event, concerning the Jubilee? And they've told me, it wasn't going to be, at that time. They said it might be like a month or so after, but I'm going to try to make that. I'm going to try to make that, and I will try to cover that for you all. So yeah, I'll do anything and everything regarding the Jubilee to try to look at that. We got Down Under Cruisers here too. I mentioned this last week when they were on, but I'm going to the Down Under this summer, July 21st. I think we are on the Carnival Splendor. And look at that. We got the Weekend Cruiser here. The Weekend Cruiser, he normally cruises on Royal, but he says, fantastic to get a media invite. Congratulations. Thank you. But those of you that are Royal Cruisers, the Weekend Cruiser, we did a show together. And I wanted to get his input because he's primarily a Royal cruiser, whereas I'm primarily a Carnival cruiser. But we had a good show, and that was a lot of fun together. And look at this. Mark is starting us off on our next batch of super chats. So, Mark, you are number 1 and 2 because we just finished. But I love the fact that you were getting us started off on our new set of super chats. And I love when it's at the end of the show, too, because we only got a few minutes left. Down Under Cruiser says that is winner for us, Coach. Well, Down Under Cruisers, let me tell you, Airlie Beach, that's one of your hot spots, like one of your like really awesome places to go. I know Airlie Beach. I think we're going to Brisbane. I mean, obviously it starts in Sydney. So Down Under Cruisers, you gotta give me the hookup because you have all the inside knowledge of the things that we need to do. So you gotta send me a message or tell me in the comments everything we need to do in Australia, because I think we have 3 or 4 different ports in Australia before we go off to Bali and eventually end up in Singapore. So, hey, everybody, believe it or not, the hour is already over. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the super chats and all the comments. A lot of great comments. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of people joined in today. If you haven't already hit that like button, if you could do that on the way out, that will help populate this for all the people that haven't seen the show yet and then want to hear, what we were talking about regarding cheers and things like that. So that will be great. Only one more cruise only one more show, that is, before the Celebration cruise. And I plan on going live on the Celebration multiple times. And yes, I'm super excited about that. Need this cruise. Been crazy, crazy busy. But again, thank you, everybody. It was great seeing everybody in the comments. Again, thank you, Seg. He's saying great show. And Mandy says good night. Tim says good night, everybody. Fireball Steve says good night, everybody. North Shore Travelers as well. Thank you again, everybody. And thank you, Tim, for that. Love the show. And we'll see you all next Tuesday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.